Alright, second video about Cold War number 1. This is 1B. This is now what to do about it. Remember in the last video we talked about the Iron Curtain and what Stalin was wanting to do through communization. Now, how do we respond to Churchill's calls? What do we do? So, first off, Truman is going to issue what is called the Truman Doctrine. Okay, this is proclaimed to help stop the spread of communism. Truman said that the policy of the United States is to support free peoples in resisting attempted subjugation or putting down by armed minorities of outside pressures. The doctrine is informally extended on the basis of the American Cold War policy throughout Europe and around the world. Historians point to this as the starting point of the Cold War. I don't like it there. I think it's elsewhere. But this is where we really start using that term, Cold War, Cold War. In other words, Truman says, the United States, if you're threatened, we're going to help you out. We're going to stop the spread of communism through these different methods, okay? Now, George Kennan, along the same time, George Kennan is going to write the long telegram. Now, why the long telegram? The telegram is supposed to be short, like a text message. This is a long document for us to read, but he does tell us some stuff we need to know. Number one, the Soviet Union was intent on expanding, so we know what they want to do. Unless the United States stopped them, they wouldn't be content until they had obtained worldwide domination. And this leads to the doctrine of containment. Okay, so we're going to apply the Truman Doctrine to stop the spread of communism. It becomes known as containment. Okay. Now I like to call this little Stalin puppy. Okay, you go buy a puppy, you think it's cute, you name it Stalin, it piddles in the corner or whatever. You get mad and you get a little. It starts peeing all over the house. So what do? You go buy a pen and you try to train it. Okay, no, you don't pee in the whole house. You can pee in this area. Now, I know that's kind of ridiculous, because why are you going to be in the house? But just roll with me, okay? But the whole idea is to not stink up the entire area, just the one area. You don't want to eliminate the puppy. You don't want to kill the puppy. You just want them to kind of learn their business over here and hopefully eventually that what they're doing is wrong. The same holds true with containment. We don't want to go to war with the Soviets. We simply want to contain them where they are and don't let them spread and make the rest of our world smell bad. Make sense? This is an extension of the Truman Doctrine, and it gets a little bit deeper here, okay, because now we start getting involved with other things. Now, I give this kind of gross saying, if you will. The two countries that are going to test containment and helping are Greece and Turkey, okay? Greece and Turkey are involved in civil wars. The communists are helping. They feel threatened, so Truman Doctrine kicks in, containment kicks in. My saying is, Truman was contained to the bathroom after eating greasy turkey. I know it's kind of sick and it makes you giggle, but you're going to remember this stuff, okay? So the first method, the first adoption of containment is going to be in Greece and Turkey through these civil wars. We don't want them to fall to communism because we're afraid it will spread, okay? So we pump in money and supplies and things like that to prevent Greece and Turkey from becoming communist. And guess what? It works. Containment works. Greece and Turkey don't fall to communism. Europe is safe, okay? For now. Now, along the same line as well, in general, our Secretary of State, George Marshall, will develop what is called the Marshall Plan. Its full name was actually the European Recovery Program. This one is an extension, again, of Truman policy and containment. It basically says, if you will promise us that you don't like communism, we will give you money so that you won't become communist. Now, the big speech he gave here was that our policy is not directed at any one nation, Soviet Union, or any one idea. Communism, our policy is against hunger where it may exist, and of chaos, and against chaos and anarchy, etc. In other words, if we don't stop this bear shadow, this looming kind of Soviet bear is going to take over Western Europe and force them into communism. Now, the Marshall Plan is highly successful. We keep a lot of nations going. However, a lot of these don't come back to us. The debts are piling up at this point. And so that's a major fear. Okay? So we're kind of combating these things. Now, the area where we're really going to be tested, as I said, with Greece and Turkey make up what is called the Mediterranean Rim. And the Mediterranean Rim, you can see, are kind of southern Europe, Eastern Asia, Western Asia rather, and then also northern Africa. These are the countries that are probably the poorest at this time. They're really struggling to stay afloat. And so this is where we're really going to pump a lot of money and attention to, because the poorest countries, these third world, underdeveloped countries, are the most susceptible to falling to communism. Because if you have nothing, a guaranteed something is better than nothing. It makes sense, right? So we're going to focus all of our attention here, and we're really going to start seeing these geopolitical battles, is what they're called. In other words, this area, southern Europe, or this area, northeastern, northwestern Asia, northern Africa, we're going to be tested, okay? So we're going to see in the next video how all this starts coming together and the next chess moves, okay? So this was day 1.